Everybody though for being 3 minutes late. I hate that. But anyway, I'm gonna call the call this workshop meeting to order. New Smyrna Beach Utilities, June the 15th, 2026, 9:05 a.m. If we could request monthly New Smyrna Commission workshop, okay. Pledge, Mr. Kelly. Commissioner Kelly, will you lead us in the pledge? Or?
Yeah.
Or?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lily, will you say the prayer?
Oh, no, I was gonna let.
All right, Commissioner Kelly, you go ahead. You're doing so good.
You want to do it? Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for today, Lord. We're just thankful. We ask you to bless us. Bless all our comings and goings, and bless all who come and go from the Utilities Commission, Lord. Give us good wisdom and faith to operate in a way which would be pleasing to you. And we just thank you for this wonderful city and community, and ask you to bless us and bring our troops home as soon as possible. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Ms. Simmons, you call the roll, please.
Commissioner Devine,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Here.
Commissioner Smith, Chairman Davenport,
Here.
Commissioner Conrad.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Item number 1, additional discussion. Budget projections, okay? It's going to be item 1A.
So Chairman, I'd like to ask Cody Gervin to come up and just go through the presentation. And just as a little preface, this was an additional follow-up from our last commission meeting. So Winter and Cody had provided a budget update in the last commission meeting. So we just wanted to follow up on a couple of items or questions that came up. Just to keep everyone, we're required by our governing charter to submit the budget by the end of June to the city. The city will do 2 hearings, but that's in September, but we're required to submit it at the end of June. So I'll turn it over to Cody to walk through some additional items.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
All right, next slide, please. So the topics I will include will be some highlights, some timeline and next steps, which Ephraim just covered a few of those, revenues, and then our O&M cost summary. Next slide. So the FY27 budget was developed using a bottoms-up and top-down approach. From the bottoms up, senior leadership and budget owners identified the resources needed to meet operational, regulatory, and infrastructure requirements. From the top down, we evaluated those needs against financial framework established by the 2025 rate study to ensure that those project costs remain supported by the rates that we're charging to our customers. The FY27 10-year capital improvement plan maintains the same project portfolio included in the FY26 amended budget. The primary changes reflected updated project cost and revised implementation schedules based on the latest information we have available. Revenues were developed using modeled customer consumption and approved NSBU rates. We'll go into greater detail about that in a bit. Just a reminder that this 2025 rate study set the rates for the next 5 years. So during that time, we'll have a new rate study and we'll make updates as needed. O&M budgets were prepared based on projected usage, purchase power cost, key cost drivers, regulatory maintenance requirements, vendor pricing, and operational risk. All budget expenditures were supported by detailed documentation.
Cody, here's a question. Ephraim, please.
Yes.
Back capital improvement planning on the Silver Sands, all that's grant money, correct?
Yes.
And then, but we're having to, are we fronting that money, Ephraim?
Yes, we are. And we've submitted, I believe, 2 reimbursements already. And we've gotten, I believe, 1 reimbursement Oh, we've gotten both?
Just got the other one, yep.
Yep, so we literally have gotten that, but yes, we do need to front the money. We do have a meeting with the Volusia County, Ben Bartlett, and the others tomorrow to review some, there would be a special assessment district that'll be set up if there's any funds that these citizens of that area or residents of that area may have to cover. But in theory or in preliminary discussions, Ben Bartlett has been very supportive of, and his staff, been supportive of setting that up and in essence working with us, because this project, in essence, since these residents are all county, this project really benefits those residents, and the county's getting the benefit of that without actually expending those funds.
Exactly.
So we're working with them to kind of help them help us to keep this moving forward.
And that's the reason I've been suggesting they should annex. But if we get down and it costs $20 million, and we only had 17 million in grants, what'll happen to that? They will be taxed for the difference?
Yes, they will, and it'll be a payment over time. It'll be a special assessment, but it will be, and they'll work with the residents and such. But, you know, in the preliminary discussions with the county, they're supportive of that, and we'd make it as advantageous for the customers, because in essence, it'll be spread out over time. There will not be an immediate charge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we are fronting the cost, but we get reimbursed pretty quick. So it's not like FEMA where you're just waiting, you know,
Right,
years
that's
and
what-
years. You get your money back pretty
Thank
quick.
you. Thanks, Cody. Continue, please. Yep, Commissioner?
Well, while we stop for a minute, I would like to get clarification on one thing. On the 5-year rate study plan, that would be 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
Yes.
It was my understanding that,
Yes.
excuse me, we would be looking at that kind of midterm and see if there was any adjustment that we reasonably should make.
Yep.
Is that still going to happen, which would be maybe 18 months from now, 12 to 18 months from now? Is that going to happen?
Yes, that will happen. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good question. Okay, Cody. Any other questions, Commissioner? Commissioner Devine, you all right? Everybody good? Okay. Thanks, Cody.
Next slide, please. So this is the budget timeline. Ephraim went over a few of these items on here. But the main thing is you do have the detailed budget package in front of you right now. We will be emailing you an electronic version of that budget package. And then at the next commission meeting, we'll ask you to vote to approve this budget so we can meet our deadline with the city to submit this FY27 budget. And then, similar to what Ephraim said, they'll have 2 readings. They'll review, and then they'll have 2 readings in September, and then that's where they'll approve our budget.
And everything's good with this budget. We're not gonna have any hiccups, Cody, like last year?
No, we have looked at this left and right, up and down. It's agrees with the 2025 rate study. So everything in all these costs are supported through the rates. So there's
Right,
no
okay.
surprises in this budget.
Well,
And our auditors have looked at all that too.
Yes, they'll look at the budget each year too.
Commissioner Devine?
I guess one comment relative to the schedule, and we talked about this last year, in fact, that the scheduling really tied to the rate increases, but just to broadly talk about scheduling as it relates to the commission making decisions around these financials. If there is a problem that emerged today, a concern, this time schedule doesn't give an opportunity for adjustments to be made. So, you know, I'm not sure we've incorporated all the lessons learned from last year, where, you know, a different outcome may be raised out of this meeting, and there's, you know, we have a budget that's due to the city by the end of the month, and we have no means to modify.
So one thing I'll just say on that is like, what we just went through is the 2025 rate study. That's where we get all the project costs and give it to our rate consultants, and then they do all their math on the cost, and then, you know, they set rates for us. And that's really our whole game plan is through that 2025 rate study. These budgets that we're passing through year to year are basically follows that plan. So in 3 years, we'll go through a whole nother rate study, And then we'll just make sure we follow our master plan, which is all of our capital budgets that I believe we're in the 8th year in. But really from the budget standpoint each year is we're just following that same plan and making sure we're in line with that rate study that we approved the rates on.
Well, I like to think of these budgets, especially after you're educating me, as having two broad components. One is the rate study and the planned rates, which drive the revenue. And while those are pretty fixed and have been tied to many attributes like our bond and so forth, the actual operating budgets are independent of that rate study. And so I'm raising this as an issue around the actual operating budgets, not the rate study.
Okay.
Those are fixed, I understand that. But if there are issues related to the operating budget, there's no opportunity for this team to weigh in on those and ask for modifications as it relates to the schedule. So I guess I'd ask that next year, let's incorporate a little more, decision make, if you're planning a go, no go on next week's meeting, there should be in the schedule an opportunity for rework in case it's a no-go.
Or you, Commissioner Devine, go ahead.
Well, I think we had an opportunity to see what that was gonna look like at the last commission
We
meeting.
did.
And we've had a chance to see what changes there were. Is there something specific that needs to be addressed today?
There is for me.
Okay.
That's why I'm raising it.
Well, do we
And-
want,
And in the name, I will raise it, we'll consider it. But my point as it relates to the schedule is there's no opportunity for it to really be addressed because this has to be sent to the city by the end of the month.
that's correct.
So,
But if we did it earlier, it wouldn't be any more meaningful than if we did
Well-
it last month.
well, last month it was presented and there were some major issues that were raised. If you recall, there was questions on the top line revenue growing at a rate
I'm gonna
of-
hit that today. so
I know you will,
Yeah.
and I've done follow-up outside of the meeting, and I understand how that is tied to some pretty fixed variables that we will use for that top-line growth of 10% revenue every year for the next, I think it was 3 years, is what we outlined in the last meeting. But below that are the expenses, and the expenses can be, there are still some questions on how the expense budget was created. And just give you the top line is that a lot of the deck that we're gonna go through today is focused on last year's budget to next year's budget. And those look to be quite in line. I think it's about a 3%
3.6.
increase, 3% increase. But if you look at the year-to-date expenses against this year's budget, we're significantly underrunning to this year's budget by about 14%.
Compared to last year?
No, when you look at this year's budget, and then you take the run rate of where we are today, we're underrunning that by 14%. And we
Right.
can break down where that 14%, even if you take out purchase power, it's
It's less than
even.
10%.
Huh?
It's less than 10%
Yeah.
with excluding purchase power. But now we have May's numbers that we're wrapping up, so we'll be able to give you updated
Yeah.
I
amounts on
get
that.
that, but we have a lot of dips and and
Right.
peaks
No, but
in the summer months,
No,
and we
no,
don't know
but
what's gonna
that's-
happen.
Sorry, but I think we discussed this, the budget, which is done monthly, completely incorporates seasonality into it, and I think there are, that can always be improved.
Always, yeah.
But when we say we're underrunning year-to-date, we should embrace that underrun as real underrun. We shouldn't say, well, that's seasonality, because the budget has seasonality built into it. I mean, and as a committee, we really must have a budget that we can compare, what the actuals are to a planned budget.
And we do, and just to add in there, we do a budgeted comparison in the financials that we send out every month. And right now, we're showing a favorability of less than 10% if you exclude purchase power, because any savings to purchase power is going to go straight to that purchase power reserve. But
I agree.
these last months are big months with hurricane, like you're one hurricane away, you're just blowing it, or one big storm that might have increased costs that we didn't incorporate. But we try to get like, you're taking the annual amount and you're dividing it by 12, and we're trying to find key
I'm not
cost
doing that.
drivers. We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do
I'm
it
not
each
doing-
month.
I'm looking at the planned budget for these first 7 months of our fiscal year.
Yep.
And looking at the
And those are
actuals
probably
of
our
the-
most mild months throughout the year.
What does mild months have to do with it?
Well, we're going into hurricane season, so you're gonna have, the storms are gonna be heavier, so
But don't we
our equipment's gonna be
incorporate, don't we
tested.
incorporate that kind of
We do.
disruption and expense into the budget?
We do,
So
but,
then
we just,
Explain your comment, though.
Well, I think, let me say that about these hurricanes. When we need $5 million, Commissioner Devine, out here, extra labor, blah, 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 correct me if I'm wrong, Cody, then we pay it, but FEMA reimburses us. So we can't really, if we're gonna go in and budget that for a hurricane, okay, I can go out here at my insurance agency and budget $50 million. Well, I'm gonna have to raise rates. So what we do is that kinda that's an unknown that we address when it happens. Is that correct?
that's correct, and that's unknown, but we do budget for a normal pattern, but like, I'm just saying, these next 4 months will have heavier storms, so we might have more maintenance
I
costs
agree.
too.
There's more risk to the.
Yeah,
fo-
and we
to the-
try to allocate that annual amount throughout, even, like, as much as we can to pick up these heavier times, but we just don't know
Okay.
Good.
until,
But let me go back to my original point. My point is around the schedule. And I would really prefer, as we look at the actual budget, that you get into the budget and you can talk about these seasonal items and where we are.
Okay, let's do that
budget.
then. Let's go there.
Right, but what I do want to make sure is captured is if there was something as we go through this review that we find is, needs to be reworked, this schedule does not allow for any changes to it. And I'm asking that as a modification to the schedule for next year.
So you're making 2 points. There's the point of we need modification to the schedule, and you don't have any specific questions at this time except for the under.
Well, yeah, at this point, it's really about the schedule.
Okay.
We're gonna go through the budget. I'll point out questions that have emerged by the growth of the budget, especially when comparing to the actuals. We'll get through that. There aren't gonna be a lot of options that we're gonna have at the end of this meeting, other than move this budget forward.
Right.
Let's
And
do
that's the
this,
main
Commissioner
point,
Vine.
is
Let's
we-
do exactly what you want. And I agree. Let's make sure that we all understand, Cody, next time around in Ephraim, the schedule. So the schedule's very important. The other thing, not this meeting, let's go ahead and get this budget. The next time, let's make sure that Commissioner Devine's, we set up here, and we're gonna hear it today, but let's make sure he gets his answers the way we need to get them done, that he will be happy with. And then we'll understand I understand expenses over revenue, and I understand how we move the money around, where it comes. But I also understand that I trust you, Cody, and I trust Ephraim, but most important of all, we've just done the bond issue, and our auditors have gone through all this budget, right? Because that's went with the bank to get a line of credit. And they already had so many people look at, I'm good with it right now, but moving forward, we've got to get Commissioner Devine happy, okay?
understood.
We do that? Is that all right?
It's not
everybody?
made me happy, but.
Yeah, I
appreciate-
mean, we ought to do, and understand where you're coming from, which we do. Thank you. Go ahead, Cody.
Okay. Next slide, please. So this is the original, slide that we presented last commission meeting that we had a few questions about of the increase in revenues compared to the 2026 amended budget versus the FY '27 budget. So while this slide shows revenue increases ranging from 10 to 13%, those percentages appear higher because FY '26 only reflects a partial year, and FY '27 was the first full year that these new rates are going to be in effect. So what we're trying to do is take the partial year impact out of this. So the next 3 slides will basically, it'll be more of an apples to apple comparison. But what we'll do is normalize the FY26 revenues as if the rates have been in place for the entire fiscal year. And then this will allow us to focus on the actual impacts of customer growth, usage, and assumptions incorporated in the 2025 rate study.
And just as a reminder to the rest of the team, this was one of the topics that came out of the last meeting where we worked hard to minimize the rate increases and landed somewhere
Absolutely.
at around 6%, and yet we show revenue growth at 10%.
Right.
And Cody's done a great job of breaking that down, and it makes lots of sense to me now, but that was one of the concerns that has been addressed.
Next slide,
Okay,
please.
go ahead, Cody. Thank you.
So this slide provides the normalized comparison by analyzing the FY26 revenues under the approved rate structure. So the 2025 rate study assumed electric customer growth at 1.8% and energy sales growth at 2.7%. So if you take that 5.5% base increase for electric and you add that to the energy sales growth of 2.7%, that will give us an expected revenue annual growth of 8.2%. So that's one point of it. And then if you, down at the bottom here, if you compare the FY27 budget revenue with the annualized FY26 baseline, we calculated 9.3%, which is consistent with the rate study projections after considering the cost of the fuel cost adjustment and other revenue components that we have in there. But the key takeaway is that once that timing impact of the rate implementation is removed, revenue growth remains aligned with the assumptions that are supported with the approved rates.
And Cody, one of the things you were going to follow up with me is on that usage growth, which is, again, I think my understanding of that is each individual household, we are forecasting a 2.7% increase in usage.
Correct.
And I was surprised to see that grows that rapidly in one year. You were going to get a comparison of past years' actual. Did you happen to?
Yeah, so if you look in the top right, I'm glad you mentioned that. If you look in the top right of that slide, that's going to show from 25 to 26. So that'll be your prior amounts right there that you can compare the current amounts to.
And this model really only, as I recall, had 1% usage growth, right? And it was actually 2.7?
I believe the 1% wasn't that customer growth?
Correct.
That's
Yeah,
customer growth.
that's customer growth.
1.5%.
Well, I think what was the usage in this model? The usage growth?
The usage growth for electric was 2.7%.
Right.
Yep, from the 1.8% of customer growth. And then if you look in the top right there, I don't have y'all have, hopefully, actually I can pull up the slide if needed to, but that gives you the prior year amounts for customer growth and usage from the 2025 rate study.
And what are the drivers that, you hear AC units get more and more efficient every year? What's causing that kind of growth per household?
Really, and I'll let you add on too, but really what the rate studies, the rate consultants are doing is they're looking at development for the customer growth, and then from like how much they're using, I don't really know what really drives that
Houses
besides.
are getting bigger, or,
So houses, they're definitely getting bigger, but I know they're heating the pools and less solar, so.
Yeah.
Children
I don't know.
moving back home.
Children, probably, because, yep, with the housing
All right.
market the way it is,
Thank you.
yep. All right, next slide, please. So here is water revenue, which tells a similar story. The 2025 rate study projected customer growth of approximately 1.6% and water consumption growth of 1.3%. So again, similar situation here. If you take that water consumption growth of 1.3 and you add it to the 7.5% rate increase, you'd have expected revenue of 8.8%. Down at the bottom there, what we did is we took the FY27 water revenues that we budgeted and compared it to the FY26 annualized baseline, and we came out to 9.1%, which closely aligns with the rate study assumptions. So this provides additional confirmation that actual growth and consumption trends remain consistent with the projections used to establish the current rate plan. Next slide. Reclaim revenues are primarily driven by wastewater operations, which serve approximately 25,000 customers, while reuse system serves roughly 4.2 thousand customers. So because wastewater represents the majority of the revenue base, overall reclaim revenues tend to follow the wastewater growth trends. Similar to the prior two examples, the rate study projected customer growth of approximately 3% and usage growth of 4.2%. So if you take that usage growth of 4.2 and you add that to the 7.5% rate increase, you'll get expected revenue of approximately 11.7%. And then if you compare the FY27 budget to the FY26 baseline, you're at 10.3%. So the results remain generally consistent with the underlying growth and usage consumptions and continue to support the financial framework established by this 2025 rate study.
So Cody, the usage growth is the consultants are recommending those numbers, or they're looking at our math?
Yeah.
That's what they expect. There's not a mathematic formula
No,
for that. It's a recommendation. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yes, it's a recommendation, but what they do is they work with Julie's group, Kenny Ho, and the number of developments and the number of homes. I mean, they do a pretty detailed, in-depth review of what they see, the number of homes are expected, and it's an estimate, but it's their best estimate of what they expect in growth in homes or customers over
Right.
the next year.
Because to Jeff's point, I was doing the logically, it seems like there's more full-time residents than there are part-time residents in New Smyrna now. Where we used to seemed like we had a lot more part-time residents, so your usage growth wouldn't increase, but now it's a little bit different. And that's just in my
That's a good-
opinion. I can't
Good theory to the root cause,
qualify that
That's-
statement,
Yeah.
but I do.
Well, and then what you hear from the city is, you'll hear from the city of New Smyrna Beach, 1.1 or 1.2% customer growth, but on electric, it's 80% is the city, then there's county, and there's a little bit of Edgewater. So our service territory includes the city, plus unincorporated Volusia, plus a tiny bit of Edgewater, particularly in electric.
That's an interesting observation, though, Commissioner Kelly, regarding, and I'd like to find that out, full-time versus part-time. You know, where are we right? Because it used to be almost part-time because, I mean, condos and
Yeah.
all the people that were,
Yep.
but now that we're growing like we are, I don't know, do you know, Ephraim, do y'all know?
Full-time versus part-time, for us, it's about, no, we focus on the customers and then that estimated
Right.
consumption.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but it's just
Yeah,
something we can toss in here to
I mean, the
trivia, if you will.
I'm sure
It's a
that'd be
little-
like a city metric. I'm sure they might have something.
Yeah,
I'll
they
look
would
at
know that. I mean, they would have to, there's gotta be able to chart it somehow. I
Right.
mean, somebody leaves and turns the air to 79 and goes for 2 or 3 months. It's gotta be obvious in their bill. But that
Okay.
would explain usage growth, because that is a hard thing to kinda
Yeah,
quantify. Be
that's a
like,
really good theory.
supposedly, it's more efficient homes they're building. I'm not
Right.
quite sure about that.
Let's find that out, Cody. Let's do that, because like you said, it does apply to the usage and what Commissioner Kelly and everybody's referring to here. If we could, please, the next meeting.
And the high customer growth on reclaimed, is that because all new construction uses reclaimed? Is that why it's so?
All
Cool.
new development.
10%?
Yeah.
Correct, but remember, it's 4,200 customers, so anytime there's that growth, it looks like it's a big percentage,
Yeah.
but really, it's only 4,200 customers.
Small sample.
That's correct.
Small sample.
10% would be 400 homes
Yeah.
that are gonna be built with reclaimed water.
Correct.
But this reclaimed water, is any of it in Venetian Bay?
Any new development is required to have reclaimed. So it could be Venetian, it could be wherever the new well, and I guess, it would be with Ardesia and,
We're just,
yes.
gotcha. Thank you. Go ahead, Cody, please.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this is our O&M cost summary. So this slide compares the FY26 amended budget to the FY27 budget, which is in line with the 2025 rate study. The FY '27 budget is 3.6% higher than the FY '26 amended budget, which reflects additional funds being set aside for engineering studies for future capital projects, including the Western Complex. We are currently finalizing the May financials, but at the next commission meeting, we'll provide a high-level overview of the primary factors contributing to the year-to-date budget favorability that we're seeing today. And as I mentioned, if you take purchase power out of the equation, it's less than 10%.
And getting back to the schedule issue, you know, it sounds like we turn this budget in at the end of this month. The city sits on it for 2 months and then approves it. So, you know, I think getting this schedule designed in a way where we can have this point of potential rework with this team, perhaps we use some of that month that the city sits on the budget. In other words, let's make whatever bylaw changes are needed to be able to turn in the budget in July, as an example, versus June, unless there's some constraint at the city where they can't analyze it.
Is that a deadline, Efrain, on that June turning in the budget? Don't we-
That June is it's part of our
It's heavy-
charter.
I think it's
Right.
a charter thing, yeah.
But
so
we
that-
could look at the charter and request a change to that.
You
if
would
that
need
We have to go to
incorporates it.
Tallahassee to change that,
We
wouldn't
need
we?
a referendum.
We have to go to Tallahassee to change that charter, wouldn't we?
There's a special act.
Special
which is
act.
the one that was done
Oh,
by
boy.
the legislature, and then there's the charter. But you could perhaps ask the city if you can give them your budget and then give them the final budget. I mean, you could ask them some questions. I think there's some ways you could.
I would prefer to have this budget right and not let the city have a feeling we're kind of like iffy. Let's get it, let's make sure that, like I said, you're happy and
Maybe you guys can look at this schedule, propose different way, you know, because right now we're looking at this with how many months of actuals? When we looked at
Well, so when we developing the budget, we're only looking at
4 months, I think.
October, November, December, January,
Through March, right? February?
February. So 4
months.
4 months.
4 months.
It's
So
a very,
that's-
it's a low, but that is we're not even majority into the fiscal year '26 actuals. We are, but then we need to do a fiscal year '27 budget. That is the case every year. The other thing I do wanna, the team, and we've done this rigor for the past several years, we had the rate study, but the detailed budget, and Winter, I believe, talked about this last time, we require every single division or department, they have to build and justify the support of what they're requesting and what is it. So that's where we get the comfort that if there were an issue, we'd communicate that. That's what we identified and discussed at the last meeting. The second thing is, since we just finished the rate study, we just finished the fiscal year '26 amended budget, we were able to compare, okay, an independent buildup of that budget, how does that compare to what the consultants just independently analyzed? And that's how we knew, that was further assurance that there is no, at least as what we know today, there are no issues.
what about this, Commissioner Devine and Board? What about Cody and Efrain getting with Commissioner Devine? And looking at the dates that you're referring to, Jeff, how it works, what you, and then bring it back to us, the board, and let's make a suggestion with Heather here and see how that
Yeah,
would go,
that sounds
okay? I'd like to see it done that way, if you would, please.
And just to be clear, I'm not criticizing the process that you have here. It's just it doesn't leave for this
Right.
kind of opportunity. And if you're a department head at the utilities and you have an opportunity to use 4 months of data to make your projection for next year versus having 7 months of data, which you'll have like in the coming weeks, I think most department heads would rather see 7 months of actual data rather than 4. That's just gonna give them a more
no.
accurate view
There you go.
for
That's
next
what
year's
we're
budget.
saying right there.
That's all.
Yeah.
No, we agree, it's just, we're in the position where what's required is the official submitted budget
I
back,
hear
yeah.
you, and I'm just, let's look at how we can
That's what we're gonna do. You and Cody and Ephraim gonna figure that out and bring it to us, and we'll make you happy. Well, it's right. It's what we need to do.
Yep.
As long as
Always
everybody,
happy, buddy.
I want you to be. I love you to death, man. We all gotta be. Let's keep going, Cody.
I think that's it. That concludes my presentation, unless anyone has any other questions.
Cody, what are next steps for a
the-
week from commission?
So yes.
A week from today?
I kind of hit some of it in the timeline, but basically, next commission meeting, we'll ask for you guys to vote on approving this budget, and then our next steps will be to submit this to the city, and then put this budget in their hands, and then we'll kind of see where the actuals take us.
And then in the
Will
back
that-
of
that-
the,
Will that 7 months of data, actual data, be available before this vote?
Yeah, so we'll give you an update at the next commission meeting before y'all vote on it, that kind of lays out high level where that favorability is coming from. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. And we'll have
So
May.
we'll have May financial information.
We'll have May financials. We're almost there. I'm just not ready to hit that yet. I
Yeah.
need 3 days.
There you go, Cody. Okay.
And you'll send that out as soon as you get it, rather than,
Yeah, I think Debbie sends the financial package out Wednesday of this week.
No, that's the agenda package itself.
Oh, the agenda, okay.
Talking about your presentation.
Just the
Oh,
financials,
the
just the
financials, yeah, it'd
financials.
be Wednesday.
Wednesday. So you'll have that
Great.
Wednesday, the financials, and then our presentation will be sent out Friday. So we got 3 days.
And then we're gonna, I know you got a lot on your plate, Cody, Ephraim, all of you, but you will be getting with Commissioner Vine on.
Absolutely,
For the
yeah.
next meeting, that we can talk about his concerns there. Okay?
We can
Thank
do that.
you. Any other observations here, Commissioner Conrad, Commissioner Kelly?
Debbie, do you know what the deadline is for the city to have their budget to the commission?
I don't.
Commissioner,
I
yes,
think it's
ma'am.
consistent
Martin,
with-
Commissioner Martin, right here, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
July 1st begins our heavy-duty budget season, which is why I think we get the utilities on June 30th. But we have to have ours finalized by September 30th.
Well, we do, and we're part of your budget, but,
Exactly.
which I understand thoroughly. But when does the commission start looking at the city's budget? Forget about ours.
Starting July 1st. All the departments have already been involved in budget planning.
So you'll have
We get-
something to look at regarding the city's budget in July, even though, I guess there's no meetings in July.
That's when we start with all the different departments are presenting their information to the commission. And of course, we're up in the air right now because we don't know what's gonna happen in November.
Right.
and
Right.
the impact that'll have on our budget. So it's gonna be an exceptionally tricky budget planning season, but, so as I said, we start the heavy-duty planning July 1st, and that goes through until we have to have one approved on September 30th.
What's?
Well, but you have the first and second hearings that have to be done in
Yes,
September
exactly,
before the
exactly.
30th. So my assumption is with publications and all that, at least by the end of August, 1st of September, you've got the first hearing scheduled, and then the second meeting, you'd have the second hearing scheduled. So through that July, August date, the city is working on refining the budget. And I guess my point only would be, wouldn't it be nice if the UC could be able to refine their budget during that same period
We
of
would
time?
love that. I don't-
But we use the final utilities budget as part of our budget planning process. Which is
Well, I
why-
understand.
Yeah,
But
so-
wouldn't it be nice if something came along in July for, that just totally blew everything out of the water, that we had a chance to refine it? Or would you just be happy with the fact that we're not gonna have any kind of revenue and expense that matches what we budgeted in April?
Well, we do budget amendments.
You do, we haven't.
No, we do, but my point is that should we need to make adjustments based on the revenue and or expenses,
You would consider it.
we can do an amendment, yes, we can do a budget amendment. But you can also see why for us, you can see why
No, I
one ends
understand.
when the other begins, because we need your info.
Right.
I understand.
Okay?
I just don't like the inflexibility of being able to react to something that's going on in the world.
No, trust me, I do hear you. Of course, we're faced with much of the same. Everybody knows that a budget is, you
Yep.
know, an
You-
ambition.
Commissioner Martin,
Right,
do you have,
right.
do you know the date? It's very interesting, by the way, when all department heads do their Brandon Center, do you know that date yet?
No, I don't have the dates for the presentations yet.
That's, hey, everybody, that's very interesting to watch. It really, that's good information, very good.
And the city and the UC have the same fiscal year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
you-
roll into their
Yeah.
ACFR, yep.
And you can sit at home and watch it in a comfortable chair besides those hard chairs over at the Brandon Center. So,
Usually, I think the budget workshops, I believe, are usually done in chambers,
okay.
okay? But you can still view it online.
Well, we're on the right direction here with Commissioner Vine's comments and Cody and Ephraim, and then
There's gotta
we'll,
be an easy solution without
yeah,
that
easy.
referendum.
I got all the faith in the world in y'all. Figure it. Okay, are we through with O and M, Cody?
Yes, that,
We're through, so that,
concludes my presentation.
that's excellent, Cody. Thank
Really
you.
good job.
Thanks, Commissioner Vine, for your comments and everybody.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. All right, item number 2 here, discussion, our RFP auditing service. Maureen Lynch. Ms. Lynch, thank you. How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to share with you, we started Maureen years ago. I keep talking about it, but we broke ground on the Buddy Davenport Habitat Utilities Commission house.
I saw
I
it.
bought this lot from Utilities, and I said, Maureen, what are you gonna do with it? I said, I'm gonna give it away one day. And the lady that got it, Ephraim, you were there, your wife was there, Mr. Devine, and she's 45 years old, never owned a house. Tracy, and she's the head of the Edgewater Humane Society.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool. She's a half
That's great.
she's about, that lot is gorgeous, Martin. You gotta go see it. It's
I
on
did
Myrtle.
see it,
You
yeah.
did? And big old
It's all
oak
cleared now.
trees, and she's a half, 2 blocks from the middle school. She's
Good
got something.
location.
So thank you, Maureen, for working with, and the board here worked with me too, many years ago. I know I was in Hawaii when I did that. I did all of it overnight from Hawaii. So, thank you. Go
Well, we
ahead.
thank you for doing that, Commissioner.
It's a real honor. And this I give the utilities the credit. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay, Maureen?
Okay, Debbie? So these are the results of the scoring of the proposals received in response to our RFP 7-26 for auditing services. Although extremely close, Purvis Gray did come out on top. This is the committee's time to discuss the results. Our next step would be to place an award recommendation on the agenda for the regular meeting in June. We would like to remind you that time is of the essence. The field work for the audit begins in August. This
Okay.
is y'all's time to discuss.
Okay, so up for discussion. Commissioner Devine, comments, please, sir?
I can't read the,
What are you looking for?
I'm looking
Should
for the
have a
scoring.
packet.
I don't think I got it in my packet.
It's this one right here.
It's slide 2 in that
Oh, it's in
smaller,
the packet.
yeah, it's a smaller one, slide
It's a little, 2 pages.
Go to the next packet.
Why don't you skip me for a second?
Okay, Commissioner Conrad, comments, ma'am,
I
please?
haven't had much time to look at this, but it kind of looks like there were similarities in many areas. You're right, it's very close, however, I still feel very comfortable with Purvis Gray.
Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioner Kelly?
With Maureen, I was like going through all that, and I couldn't tell what was AI written and what was standard form or what was copied from last year, pasted to the thing, and I thought to myself, I look at financial statements from like a finished product. You know, you accountants, Ms. Lillian, CPA accountants look at it like in detail, and I think that my thought was that I really believe that, I mean, we can recommend, but I think at the end of the day, staff has got to say, hey, I think these people are the right people to have, and we would agree or not agree with you. I did, to Commissioner Conrad's point, Purvis Gray has always been a good company, done a good job, given us good timely information. But that was my recommendation in it all. But the process was difficult because the language and everything is, God, you could just paste it right over top of one another and add the company's name to the top of it. So that was my thoughts on it. And, you know, like I said,
Commissioner,
go ahead.
anything
Done.
else, Commissioner
No, sir.
Kelly?
Done.
Commissioner Devine, did you?
Yeah, I guess, for me, with my experience with auditing in general by third parties, I think there's value in having a kind of a midterm relationship with an audit company, but then at some point, I think it's important to rotate and put new sets of eyes on whatever entity is being audited. With the long history with Purvis and Gray, I was in favor of doing some sort of renewal to, you know, have a new set of eyes. I know there's going through this process, a lot of reference to past years, a lot of reference to, you know, the things that we've always done, and I just think that that's positive in a way, but it also can be negative. And I would say, with that efficiency and understanding of all the history, it didn't show up in any of the pricing for Purvis and Gray.
Right.
They were the highest or one of the highest. So that was one concern I had of the outcome here. And if it's not this year, I think we ought to look for a very deliberate way to rotate auditors at some frequency. You know, maybe it's every 5 years, 7 years, but having a long-term relationship without disruption with an auditor has not been my experience to be the best practice.
I would totally agree with you, and it's always been a consideration when I look at evaluating over the years. But I looked at the responses, and I couldn't see anybody who had the overall rounded experience related to our part of the geographic country. And that influenced my decision very heavily. The other thing that influenced my decision was that I had reached out and suggested that they review their work papers, and they satisfactorily covered the questions that I had. So I didn't have that to evaluate anybody else against, but what I did have was confirmation that they know and understand our organization. And then the third thing, when the city went to Purvis and Gray, I was a little disappointed because I thought we could get some synergies with having two different companies look at our overall responsibilities. So this would have been the time for me to change my opinion on, in the evaluation about, okay, I know I'm not supposed to look at extraneous stuff, but when I looked at all the things that were in front of me, I could not come to a conclusion that any of the other firms could provide the service that would be efficiently performed for us. And that's never gonna change, Jeff, if we don't change. I understand that.
Yeah.
Any other comments, Commissioner Devine?
I assume this is a recommendation, or, I mean, I don't know the decision-making process from here.
We'll,
Board.
we'll,
It's a vote.
The committee can make a decision to place an agenda item on the regular meeting in June to award the
Yeah.
contract to Purvis Gray. This is just a committee meeting because it has to be in the sunshine.
Right.
But the committee can come to a consensus today so that we can move forward in June.
My comments on it, by the way, a lot of reading. Oh, oh, man. Are you kidding me? I said, when I got into that, there's an old saying, forget the cheese, let me out of the trap.
Yeah.
When I volunteered for this, but I did. But I'm going to go with, and back up what Commissioner Conrad said, service. I'm going to go with the service that I feel they've given us. Any question we've had, Ephraim, they've answered it. Y'all pick up the phone, Cody, get a hold of them. Y'all configure it. Not that you couldn't these others, but they give you excellent service. That was my read, and I like that. The other thing was what Commissioner Conrad said, was the geographical location. I like that too. So those were two pluses, and then I just felt maybe more Ocala's a city that they understand. New Smyrna, I have a lot of friends, a lot in common, besides South Florida, if you will. That's another world. So it's like, I weighed up all this, so I'm really pleased, but going to Commissioner Devine, I understand exactly what you're saying, a new set of eyes. Maybe let's look at that,
Yeah.
but I'm in favor of Purvis and Gray. I like what they've done and how they've done it. So that's my read on it too, so. I don't know was Commissioner Smith on it?
No, he was not.
Okay. So that's my read on it, Maureen. So let's see here. How do we want to proceed, or what do we want to do? Schedule presentation, termination. Do we vote on this, set it up right now to vote, or the next meeting, Ephraim?
The next meeting, so Maureen will put together an agenda item
Yes.
that will then recommend awarding the contract to Purvis and Gray.
Yes,
That all right, Maureen?
yes.
Anything else, Maureen, we need to go over?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Excellent job. We sure appreciate it.
Maureen, can I ask a quick question? Are there different people on the audit teams that come in every year, or is it the same people year after year? What do you see?
I would have to defer to accounting.
Same partner or manager, but
Yep.
usually they have different staff.
Different staff, okay.
But that same partner is the one doing the screening of comments, and, one of the problems I had is that the criteria to capture comments through the process goes through a screening process that I think doesn't capture all the opportunities for improvement. And these issues have to rise to a certain level before they are captured. And I think that's a miss. I mean, they can be categorized appropriately and explained appropriately. It doesn't mean they all need action, but that would be my one request to Purvis and Gray, is to change the way they're capturing potential opportunities that they observe.
And just one thing to mention too, like, they do have that same partner, but they have a third partner review too. 'Cause they have their requirements on their end too, to meet the controls on their side.
Yeah.
But it's more than just Ron looking at our audit each year. Just to mention.
They have their peer review requirement.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I never have looked
If
to
you-
see how well they do with that, but it's
Maureen,
public
if you do that
information.
for us, we'd appreciate it.
will.
The next meeting, please.
Thank you,
Thank
Chairman.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, moving right along, we're going to move to item number 3, development of our agenda for our July 20th joint city workshop, New Smyrna and the city. Where is that workshop going to be held? Here? Good. I didn't want to have to set out. I'd like to make notes. I'm glad we're going to sit across and the way we did it before. And I think Commissioner Conrad, you said this previously, ma'am, in a couple of meetings back, or maybe, that after this meeting on July, we should do this at least twice a year, communication. I think that's very important, but we'll talk to them about that. That's one agenda item I'd like to see, how they would like for us to communicate, and we can't understate that enough after some things that happened in the past, so it's all about communication. So what else on the agenda items, anyone? Commissioner Devine, suggestions?
I think, you know, a very top level of the budget would probably be a.
Yep, there you go, there's,
Not at anywhere close to the detail that we review, but they'll have received the budget, and we can just give them a brief
Right.
overview. Second would be an update on the Western Complex and where we are in Phase 1.
and
Those
if
are
we,
the only two items I could think of.
okay, it sounds great. So we got those two. One I just said, Commissioner Conrad, I see the wheels spinning there.
No, I wanted to ask Commissioner Devine a question.
Go ahead.
Refresh my memory, what's the timeline for responses to the RFQ?
I think it's
I believe it's
45.
now July 19th. It was July 17th, and then we had to put out 2 days. So it's gonna be, we're gonna have responses right before the workshop.
Yeah, we're not
I don't
gonna have
think
a
there- I
chance
don't-
to even
yeah.
think about that.
No, I don't think, I think we'll just probably review in general this Phase 1 and Phase 2, and I don't think we'll have had the time to vet any of the responses. I don't think that would be appropriate.
I
I
think
don't
the only
either.
thing we could probably do is say we received X number of
That's it.
responses and they're under evaluation. But we probably should consider that next workshop to be sometime, probably during the holiday season. It would be this. one
That's
that
what
would
we'll
be
determine
mostly-
when we're together,
Yeah.
okay? Commissioner Commissioner, are you through, Commissioner Conrad?
Yeah.
Anything else? Commissioner Kelly?
I just will go with the PR firm is gonna be important for this Western Complex thing, just, just talking to people from the community and stuff
Oh,
on
yeah.
it, there's a misunderstanding about it already, so I think we will have to plan that well, and I think it's gonna be an interesting process.
And piggyback on what you said there, Commissioner Kelly, I think it would behoove us to look into or bring it up, possibly assisting Venetian Bay with some retention runoff with the westerly side of that property. We have enough. That could, neutralize some situations there. So the developer, we need to keep that in mind when we're talking about this, because there's enough land over that could be done, so, why not? We could help somebody, so,
And Mr. Chair, I explained too, we have control over that too, environmental impact, and maybe we can do some things environmentally that, a traditional developer wouldn't do. I mean, they're gonna use every square foot of property that they can for everything they can. So we have some choices there, long-term.
okay. Anything else, Commissioner Vine, anyone?
Maybe just a kind of an open question to the entire group of means by which we can better collaborate. If
Exactly.
there's like a brainstorming, 15 minutes of ideas on how there could be more collaboration between the two entities.
This is very important, as we all know, and let's, next week or so, just be thinking and send Efren or Debbie an email if you come up with anything else. So riding in the car, you're just thinking about something, send it to her and let her know, please. You never know when something else will pop up in your head, or somebody may say something to you, so. Okay, anything else on this workshop? Anyone comments? Anyone want to say? Yes, sir, Commissioner Kelly.
Just one comment, and I appreciate, Cody, what you and your team do. And I think sometimes in going through the accounting firm stuff and the 60 pages from each one of them that we read, right? Sometimes you get brain freeze from reading that stuff. And,
Yeah.
in yours role and what you guys do at NSBU, it's you assume or take assumptions. Just like in automotive, I can talk in a language just like nobody understands because it's of that. And sometime I want you to know what an outstanding job I think you and this team and staff and Efren and everybody do. It's just like questions, it's like, hey, I don't understand that. It was like the youth usage growth thing. It was just an assumption that we just assume that that's the correct number and stuff. And I think, you know, for you and the team to know how much we appreciate the information, and we just got to deep dive sometime and bring that information out, and just like getting more time for the city meeting, you know, presenting the budget. It's a great idea. I don't even know if they can do it, accommodate it, but it's a great idea to do that. And so I don't want to think at any point that we're questioning anybody's ability or integrity or anything like that, but it is information that I think if a citizen was sitting here and they don't pay attention to this, they can never question us on our decision-making process or judgment and our math. You know, sometimes they say it's math, not magic. It's math, okay? So, but I just wanted to tell you, we appreciate that and what you guys do.
Absolutely.
Well said. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Kelly, for those kind comments, because it is true, Cody. Thank you. Boy, you've really stepped up, young man.
Yep.
Watch you go right here at the podium.
Yep,
Right in front. I
great
love
team.
seeing that. Great job. Keep it up. Okay, item number 4, additional topics for future topics for the July 9th workshop.
Chairman, before we go into the additional topics, I just wanted to provide an update. So the other day, we received some additional correspondence from Solar United Neighbors, Ms. Heaven Campbell. So we replied to her and we forwarded the response to all of you. And then I believe Mr. Denton had sent another item related to the same topic. So we are working with everybody, informing them around the position and what we had made as the stance for the solar customers. And at this point in time, there is no change from that
Okay.
position. So that's really,
And we're keeping, of course, when a ratepayer sends us something, they're gonna get the city involved, so we're city knows.
yes, the city as well. So we sent them detailed, in essence, the history of it as well, so they have the same information, so, yes, they do. And as we get any requests, we've discussed with Miss Commissioner Martin, the mayor, and others individually as well, so.
I understand that, they want us to grandfather that in, but we'd have to change the rates, go back to a rate, say, correct, Ephraim?
Yes,
It would be just.
you would have to literally do, if I'm not mistaken, and Heather and Ms. Simmons can confirm this, you would have to do 2 public hearings, you would have to do the process as if we were changing all the rates again, but it would literally be for this. But yes, but back and one of the critical documents was back in August of 2025, we made a presentation to the commission, our commission here, that lays out what it was currently and what the changes that we were proposing and the validity of those changes. So, okay.
But also, with that, they are not contributing any funds to the maintenance of our utilities, so that's the big thing with me, everyone. I just think we're all in this thing together, and you should carry your fair share. I'm all about being fair, and I think it's fair personally.
And I think some of the utilities that are accommodating people that are larger, they have thousands,
Oh, yeah.
more customers than we do to offset that loss. And what's fair for one is fair for all in that aspect. But it's harder with our size to accommodate that and be fair rate-wise.
Okay, any comments anymore? All right, thank you, Ephraim. What else we got to talk about here? Future workshop, Commissioner Conrad, anything?
No, I think we've got enough on our plate for the moment, and I also think you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow, which may affect the next workshop. Talk
Isn't that the
about
truth?
scheduling. And
Yeah.
before we adjourn, you might see I don't even know if there's any public out here, but.
Oh, yeah, I was getting ready to do that, yeah. I just saw that a while
I did
ago.
have one new business before we left.
Sure.
That. I was going to propose a new date for the July 27th meeting. I was hoping we could move that to the same time on the 28th. So current schedule is Monday, the 27th, July 27th. And while we can't change that, I don't think we can change it today. But
We can
we can ratify that next meeting.
Yeah, or
Would be
just to
fine.
maybe get a feel for
If
people's
everybody can
ability to,
You want to move that
Move it.
workshop, Commissioner, to from the 27th
well, I
to the
don't think it's a
28th?
workshop, it's the board, it's
For
the
the board
regular board
meeting?
meeting. From the 27th to the 28th, same time.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my schedule when I get home. I have to talk to my assistant. He tells me where to go. Yeah, a lot of times. Okay, we'll probably make that happen, but
Okay.
we'll talk to Ms. Simmons. Everybody?
I'm good.
Okay, Ms. Simmons, I'll let you know about mine too, please, ma'am.
Okay.
As far as I know, it looks good with me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, anything else? Commissioner Kelly?
No, sir. Thank you.
Oh, man. Commissioner Conrad? Well, I just want to, Commissioner Devine,
No, sir.
thank y'all. Everybody, I just want to say thanks for what you do out there, Cody. Everybody, it's not overlooked. Maureen, you're going to be leaving us before we know it. I'm sad about that. I've enjoyed working with you. And I hope, I said this to Ephraim this morning, very early this morning. I said, Ephraim, how far is Julie going? She's going to the beach side. I said, good. She's a phone call away. He said, yes. I said, okay, that's what we need. We need you, probably going to need some advice going in the future, some consulting with this future Wesley complex, because you've been deep in it for many years. So we appreciate you, Julie, we do. Thank you so much. And we're
Julie,
looking for her replacement right now.
Yeah, the professional approach that you entered into your retirement here has been outstanding. We really appreciate the notice and of course all your contributions. It's, you really demonstrated a great care for this organization by approaching it the way you did. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other comments from anybody? Commissioner Martin, always appreciate you showing up. You're always here with a smile.
Yeah, your 9 a.m. meetings are playing havoc with my schedule.
They play havoc with my sewers, my dog, my office. Yeah, play a lot of, we all got it, right? A lot of havoc in our lives.
No, what I mean is that a lot of city meetings and other city meetings get scheduled for this 9 a.m. slot, and this more of the utilities now.
Yeah. I think you know somebody over there that can fix that. If you can get that rearranged, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Good job.